Hi, welcome back to Book Buzz with Jan and Payne, a podcast focused on romance books. Today we have the pleasure of having TL Swan with us, and we're going to be talking about her journey as an author, her epic books, and her jaw-dropping heroes.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's such an honor to have you here on our podcast. I am seriously nervous. I've been nervous all day today. So I'm literally shaking. So if I might be stuttering here and there, so please excuse me because I am so happy and excited to have you here. I love your books. So thank you so much for joining us today. So how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm nervous. I'm the nervous one. I don't do this. This is my very, very first podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's such an honor then, since we're the first one. So I'm going to go right off to how I got into your books. Okay. I remember the Stanton series was actually the first series that I picked up from you. And then it went on to Dr. Stanton. And then somehow I got out of the billionaire phase. So I went on to reading other books. And then I came back and read your books. And just made me realize of how much I missed your work. And now I am constantly hoping and looking forward to all of your books. And they are seriously, your books put me in a book slump every single time. And I'm still in a book slump.
Oh, so you've just read the Casanova, is that?
Yes, I've read it. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm nervous. 4 days until that comes out. So
yes, I can't wait for people to read Elliott's book. He's so charming.
I know. I love him. I love him.
Yes.
So I actually read my first book of yours last week, and because I've had it on my TBR for like ever, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it, and then I've read the Stopover.
Okay. Yep.
But I read it, and then because I told Payne, I was like, oh my god, her books are long, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it. But it's funny because I started it like I'm gonna say around like 9 p.m. because I texted Payne. Okay,
yes,
I forgot what I texted you because I started reading it, and then I literally was up at 3 a.m. I would put it to the side. I'm like, okay, maybe just one more chapter. Let me read a little bit more. I finished it like not even 24 hours after. I'm like, okay, now what am I gonna read? Because I had ordered the second one,
Takeover.
Yes, and I was like, okay, Amazon, hurry up, and I got that one and I read it, and then I jumped right into Mr. Master. So I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, why did it take me forever?
Oh, thank you so much for reading. I don't mean to write such big books, but I just I don't know. I can't get the character development that I want unless I keep. I don't know.
Hey, I love big books, so I love that they're long.
When I get the paperbacks, and they're always so much bigger than they seem, because I write on a computer, and when my paperbacks come back, I think, that's really, really big. Was I just raved on in that book? What the hell? Is this book so big? So it's a surprise to me as well. Don't worry.
Well, I love that they're long. Right now, I literally just got home from work, and I have, the Mr. Spencer waiting for me. So I'm starting that today. So I'm very excited.
I love Spencer. I love him. Well, thank you so much, girls, for your support. And Payne, can I just say I am literally addicted to your teasers that you make me. I absolutely love them. I don't use anybody else now. I just wait for you to post teasers, and then I message you and say, okay, I'm buying this one because I need it. I need it. So you're the queen.
Thank you. Thank you. That means so much to me. Coming from you, it means everything to me. Thank you. So we're nosy people. So we want to know, what made you publish your first book?
Okay, so this is a funny story. I don't know if you girls have heard my story, but so about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, my husband and I bought a business, a news agency, and we were going really well. And then we bought this news agency and it did not go well. And we basically lost everything we owned. So in a period of 2 years, we lost over $1 million. We were on the verge of losing our house. Mm-hmm. It was a really bad time. So one night I was folding washing, crying because I was thinking, oh my God, we're going to go bankrupt. I'm going to lose everything. And I saw an Oprah special on The Secret. I don't know if you've from Rhonda Byrne, the book The Secret. So it sort of just resonated with me. So I went out the next day and I bought the book. And it's all about finding what you're supposed to be doing in your life, you know. Mm-hmm. So I was like, right, that's it. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to start thinking positive. So about a week later, I was cleaning out my garage and I found an old diary. And you know how they have pens in the middle of them where you close them over a pen? I found a box that had been, it was from my very first move out of home when I was 18. And in the bottom of this box, I found a diary with a pen in it. And I opened the diary and it was a story about a man called Joshua Stanton. It was a book that I wrote when I was like 17, 18. And it was the Stanton series. And I was like, I read it and I was thinking, it was probably about 50 points. And I thought, that is really cool. And I sort of remembered that I had dreams of being an author. Before I went and worked in mental health and did all these things, I had dreams of being an author. And I literally walked inside and opened up Word and wrote chapter 1. I've never done a writing lesson. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just smudging it along most days. But I have a writing group for newbie authors and I just basically share what I do and what has worked for me, because in the beginning I was using Google to learn how to do stuff. I'd be like, what? I need to do that. Okay, Google. How do I blah, blah, blah. So it's been a wild process, but never in a million years did I think that it would come to this. Never.
Yeah. I'm glad you found that diary because it was the Stanton series that got me into your books. So I'm glad you found that diary. From whenever you write your books, do you get any inspiration from anything, or you just write it come off the of your head?
I plot my books. I'm a plotter, so I plot usually probably 12 months in advance, and most of my books come to me in dreams. Weirdly enough, I dream stuff. So I'll think of the character, I'll think what I'm writing, and then I'll go to bed, and then I'll wake up and I'll go, okay, this is the story. So it's weird. I explain it, but yeah.
And did you ever when you started writing, did you know it was going to be romance right off the bat, or was that something that?
No, I'm a romance reader, so I've only ever read romance. It's funny, you know, I like a good crime book. I like a good psychological book, but you know how they hint on the romance? I'm like, come on, give me some action. Come on. So like in the end, I end up slamming the book shut and like, oh my God. So I need that oomph in my books that I read. So it was never a choice for me to not go all the way there.
And who are some of your favorite authors?
Sylvia Day, hands down. She is.
Love her.
It's funny, you know, I don't read anyone else's books. I haven't read a book since I started writing because I feel like I don't want I shelter myself very much from the outside author world. So I'm not in any author groups, and I'm not, I've got 5 close friends. And apart from that, I don't sort of venture out simply because I feel like if I read other people's books and I know what else is out there, it's going to diminish what I put in my books because I'll be worrying about what else is out there. Do you know what I mean? So I stay very focused. So Sylvia Day is my queen. That's about it. Nora Roberts, I like Nora Roberts. I like her crime and sci-fi, not sci-fi, paranormal kind of stuff. But yeah, that's it.
I love that. I love that you said that though, because I think especially now, it does get tricky and with like writing and everything. So I love that.
Yeah, I just feel like my stories, if I had other people, and I guess it comes from my mental health training as well, like so much of what we think is actually things that we've read or retained from someone else. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like if I was reading other people's work, it would have to rub off in my work. Like it would have to, you know, unconsciously rub off in my books that I write. So I totally focus. I don't even watch TV.
And you know, when I was reading the Stopover, I told Payne, because this is when I think technically I told her I was reading. The way you write is so unique, and I loved it because you're the first author where the heroine is so vocal, like on what she wants, which I loved. And I told Payne, I was like, whoa, like she's vocal on what she wants. I love it. This is the first time that I've read a book where the heroine is not shy or anything. She's vocal. And I absolutely love that.
It's funny because I get told by people, because I don't read, I don't know what else is out there. So people say that to me all the time and I go, really? And then someone will say something about me writing really raunchy books and I'll go, really? Are my books like on a scale of 1 to 10 where everyone sits? Where am I? And they're like, you're 11. I'm like, really? I don't know what else is out there. So like I read snippets, like I'll read a paragraph or I'll read teasers and I'll think, oh, that looks so good, like, you know, people's stuff. But I won't ever actually read a whole book. So people tell me all the time, I love how your heroines are such smart asses.
Yep.
I don't even think they are, but I think that's because I must be a smart ass because I don't know. I get told that a lot.
When you write, do you set a schedule for your writing, or you just
I'm very organic. I can't just force it. For example, I'm writing Ferrara at the moment, so I don't know if you've read the Italian.
Yes.
And my chapters are about 5,000 words long, and this week I've written, I think, the same chapter 9 times because I can't get it right. So it's a weird thing for me. So I never know if something's right. I just go with my gut. So I write it, and I have a really strange technique that I write with too. So I have like 7 girls all around the world, English, Irish, UK, American, Puerto Rican. And what I do is I send my chapters out as I write them. So I get instant feedback. So I know, and, you know, I'll send a chapter out and I just think that's not right. But it's like I can't work out what's wrong with it. I never know what's wrong with it. I just have to keep writing it until it feels right. So I think this week I've written nearly 50,000 words in 1 week on one damn chapter.
Wow.
Some days it's hard. Some weeks it's hard. This week has been a hard week, but it's usually the parts in the book where I would call it's like a segue into the next part of the book. You know, so for example, they might be back and forth and then all of a sudden they're falling in love. It's that connecting chapter that I always have trouble with in every book. Always the same book. You know how some books you might read and they're going along and then all of a sudden they're madly in love and you think, oh, that just doesn't feel real.
Yes.
That segue chapter hasn't been nailed. So I'm very aware of that. So when I'm doing that chapter, I'm like, kill me now.
Which has been the hardest book for you to plot and to actually get it to the point where you're like, okay, I like this. I feel comfortable with this.
Find Me Alistar. So I don't know if you girls have read that. That's a screenplay. It's very, very different. It's not contemporary. Have you read it? Either of you read it yet?
I actually haven't, because I've heard or read reviews that people said it's very different and emotional.
Very emotional, very different.
Yes. And so I am waiting for that second book before
my favorite book. It's actually my very favorite book. So it's a screenplay. So I wrote it as a screenplay. So I don't know if you girls know this, but my aim, I write all my books as screenplays. That's why they're so big. So I don't leave out any scenes, like I do it. And Alistar was never actually going to be published as a book. It was going to be sold as a screenplay. So, but in the end, I ended up publishing it. But the history research that I had to do is so full on for it. And I wrote the whole book 4 times.
Oh, wow.
I'd write it and then I'd be like, no. And I'd put it away and I'd write something else. And then I'd come back to it because it's the kind of book that has eaten at me that I have to publish it. So some books that I don't, some books I don't feel like I don't have that I have to publish this book, but like Our Way was another book that I had to publish. Like I was told by so many people, don't go there. It's not going to go well. I don't know if you girls have read Our Way yet.
Yeah, I did.
Don't go there. And to date, that has been my most successful book. So,
oh, wow.
You never know what's going to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the idea for Find Me Alistar?
Dreaming. It's funny. Weird. Woke up in the morning and was like, holy crap, that's a really good story. So I can't tell you about it because you haven't read it, but it's not what you expect, and it does end on a cliffhanger, but everyone's devastated by the cliffhanger, but it's not a sad cliffhanger. I actually love the ending, but there's another book coming, so
okay. Yeah, because I'm waiting for that second book before I pick it up, because I'm probably gonna die waiting for the second book.
No, I know. It's funny because I plot the book. So what happens is I can't show you. I'll show you girls my office, by the way. I'll just show you around my office quickly.
Okay.
Can you see?
Oh, yeah.
So I have big folders of books, and I plot Alistar's book, and I cry every single time I plot it. So if that's any indication, that's all I can say.
So apart from that book, because when I read, like I said, I read The Stopover, the Mr. Masters, and all of those books have made me cry. And I'm like, I was at work and I was crying, and out of nowhere somebody came up to the front. I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. So apart from that book that we Find Me Alistar, has another, do you ever cry when writing?
Every book I cry, and then I laugh. I'm like a nutty professor, like I'm giggling away, crying. But I remember one night when I was writing Alistar and I was literally sobbing, and my husband came in and snatched my computer and said, that's it, I'm done with this book, I'm sick of crying. So I sort of feel like if the author isn't laughing or crying or busting to get back to write the book, the reader's not going to be doing that. So
yeah,
and that's always what I've said, and I've said this in the podcast before. I feel that if you don't cry in the book, then it's
devastated. Like when I'm writing, I'm like, oh my God, he's such an asshole. I don't actually sit there and go, ha, 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 this is funny. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm right there with you. Don't worry.
I do want to make a comment, though, because since I just finished the Takeover, I have to say those scenes with Tristan and the boys were, especially Harry, were the best. I was telling Peg, I was like, oh my God, they're so mean to each other.
I know, everybody says to me, where did you get that? And I go, I don't know, it just came to me, but I have sons, so it's not that far from the truth. I get it.
I love it though. And from reading that book and then reading Mr. Masters, I love the kids that you write. They're amazing.
Yeah, I love kids. Have you read Dr. Stanton yet?
I have not, but I did order it, so I should be reading it soon.
I must admit, I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and I find that when there's children involved, my male characters sort of get another dimension. They get that fatherly dimension, and it makes them really lovely. Like I really, yeah.
I was sobbing with the Takeover.
Oh.
When there's in case people are listening and it's a spoiler if they haven't read it, so I won't say it, but there was a scene with Tristan and Harry that that's the one I was at work crying. I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't be reading this here.
Yeah, I was writing that going, oh my God, when he taps it, I was like, oh yeah. Yes, he tapped it.
So we got this question from one of your fans, one of your readers, and they asked, do you ever feel overwhelmed with writing multiple books in a series, wondering how the readers will react to it?
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed most days. The problem is, it's funny, so when you start out, you write completely for yourself, and you sort of get swept away, and as you do better and better and better, the expectation grows on you to deliver a really good book. And then I think you get to a point where you have to stop listening about that and go back to writing for yourself, because you don't. I feel that's when authors lose their edge. Do you know what I mean? They become predictable, and they become, I would say, very shaped by opinion. Our job is to stay original. Our job is to stay so that people are shocked or excited. And, that doesn't always mean that people are going to accept or love what you do. So I guess you just have to I just trust my gut, and I kind of go with the theory, if I love it, hopefully someone else does. I would never put a book out that I'm not 100% in love with. So, and I'm very hard on myself. Like I said this last week, writing this Ferrara thing again and again and again. I have copped an absolute slamming for Mr. Garcia, and I stand by it. I love him. So, I guess pressure is a privilege. So I do feel I do get a little bit stressed writing the Miles High series, because I'm writing that for Amazon, and I'm the only Australian author Amazon's ever signed. So there is pressure on me to bring it up so that they'll hopefully sign more Australian authors. So I want to perform well. So, but luckily for me, I don't know why, but sarcastic banter with rich, smart guys just comes naturally. I don't have to really go too far out of my comfort zone. So I would say that my natural writing style is the Miles High, bit of funniness, bit of lightness. The other stuff comes to me obviously in dreams, and I dig deeper, but yeah. That's a long answer. I really rave on. See why my book is so big?
That's actually a good answer. So we've had a lot of people asking us about who's going to get a book. And I seriously tell Jan, I don't know. I don't remember all of these characters that people ask for. And I seriously don't remember who Scott and Alyssa.
Alyssa, yeah. So Scott is Joshua Stanton's older brother, and his wife. But Scott will get a book one day, but Alyssa won't be in it, unfortunately. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Edward.
Yeah, Edward Prescott. So he is Charlotte's brother. So he is getting a book, actually. So with the Mr. series, I have a scoop for you girls. Edward Prescott is the next one to be writing about, and I will be going through to him and his two friends, and then I'll be going on. It will continue on the Mr. series. So Edward is a very wealthy owner of casinos. So
I'm writing it down. Abby?
That he was like, remember he was with the friend and he had the friend, she was spying through the tree. Through the window,
yes.
Had the girl in the handcuffs. Well, that's Edward.
Oh. I read too many books that I seriously don't remember everyone's name.
Oh, of course.
Abby?
Abby. So Abby is Natasha and Bridget's best friend from the Stanton series. She's the wild one. She has got a book coming out. So her book, I can't tell you what book series it's in. It's I can't without spoilers. So anyway, she's got a book coming out.
Henry.
Who are we talking about?
Henry is let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Are you gonna write any second generation though?
Yes. So once I do the Men of Mark series, which is the security guards that all work for Ben.
Yes.
I will be writing the next generation, which will be the Stanton children. So it'll be Cameron's and Joshua's children. So that'll be fun. But I really have to finish the first generation first. So there's Abby and Adrian, and then the Men of Mark series, which is another 6 books. So we're looking a fair way down.
Well, I'm excited for all of them. So Henry is from 𝐅𝐸.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. No, he's not getting a book at this point. I haven't really put it out there. No. So he was the other guy that the other love interest, I should say. But no, at this point, there is no plans for Henry to get a book.
Okay.
As soon as I don't remember who it is, you know that he's not getting a book because he doesn't remember. I remember him. I remember everybody I want to write about.
Yes. So, because at the end of some of your books said that they will be getting extended epilogues for Tully and Brock and for 𝐅𝐸.
Yes.
Is there any set in time that we might get the extended?
So Tully and Brock, I had a really bad experience, and this is probably the turning point when I told you earlier that I went back and started writing for myself rather than. So I got accused of Brock being a rapist by the reviews. Bad, really, really bad. I got really so trolled. It was really bad for a while, and I was at a point in my career where I was young and not young, you sort of get tougher. Every year you're an author, your skin gets a little thicker and you get tougher. But at that point, I was going well. I was breaking into the top 100 and I just was so shocked by all of this that it really, really upset me. So I couldn't write. Every time I go back to the book, I'd open it up and I'd cry. Like I couldn't even. So that is the reason I didn't write their extended epilogue, because at the time it was so upsetting for me that my assistant, because I've got a full-time assistant, she was like, move on, we're not going there. Move on. And every time I go back to write it, I have this block. So that's the reason why I haven't written that book, because I was just so shocked that a character that I loved so much could be hated so much. Do you know what I mean? It was like, what am I doing? This isn't rape. Do you know what? Like I just couldn't, I can't, and I still defend it. It's not rape. She was like, do it. Like she wasn't screaming, you know what I mean? Like she was down for it, but it was probably the defining point of my career, where after that book I had to do the whole, who am I writing for, and what do I believe? Do you know what I mean? I'm very straight up and down. I would never write a rape scene. I don't even write dark. Like, it's just not me. So that's the point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to write what I want, and if people don't like it, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, Brock I read it last month, and I have to say, Brock might have to be your most alpha hero ever.
Oh, he's rough. Like, he's tough. I get it. I get it. But if you'd read the Stanton series, and, he's ex-military, if you'd read that and you knew how he was with Joshua, if I had have written him as this sappy, wimpy boy, it would have completely assassinated his character. So I stuck with the true character, and, you know, maybe there were some scenes that I pushed the boundaries, but it is what it is. Like, I can't, you know, and I've been slammed for that book. I called the book Gym Junkie, meaning she met him in the gym and she became a gym junkie to go to the gym to see him. Yeah. It got perceived as he's a gym junkie, and then Amazon blocked all my advertising because it had junkie in the title. Blocked all all my advertising because of the junkie, and it just, you know, you guys, every single part of this book in the publishing process was a battle. Do you know what I mean? Like, so kind of just scarred me. But anyway, once again, raving on.
When will we be getting Mr. Garcia on Audible?
I think he goes in this week. Oh, this week or next week to be production. We had to wait for the narrators that I wanted. So, he goes in this week. We do all our own Audible. So a lot of people ask why we don't have everything on Audible, and it's because I've kept the rights to everything. So all our translations are done by us. We hire translators, and we do it. Kelly, my assistant, that's her full-time job, is Audible and translations. So, you know, an Audible book costs me around $14,000 to produce.
Oh, wow.
So when people say to me, why aren't the Stanton series in Audible? It's because it's an outlay of me for $60,000 to get it done. You know, 5 books. Yeah. So that's why it's not done, because I'm building my audience every year a little bit by a little bit. And once I get to a point where I have enough Audible listeners, then I'll do the big series. But until then, it's just a slow process. Unfortunately. Oh, wow.
I didn't realize that it cost that much to put it into Audible.
Normally people will sell the rights for their book to a company, and the company pays. But because I've retained the rights to everything, I pay for it myself. So we do 3 or 4 a year, but one series is 4 or 5 books. It's a big outlay. We don't even know how it's going to go. Like, when you do series, like just singles, standalone books, every book has its own merit, you know what I mean? But when it's a series, people might not gel with that series, and it's a big outlay for that.
Yeah. So from all the Miles High brothers, who's your favorite one?
It's really hard because I like them all for different reasons.
Yeah.
So if I had to date one of them, my natural taste, I like harder men, so I would be Jamison. But Jamison is hardest for me. But then I love Tristan, and then I love Elliott. Elliott's just so romantic and swoony, so he's a special place. But then Tristan with the kids. Yes. I don't know. Christopher's book's really funny too. I'm actually in the we're plotting now, so I'm laughing the whole time I'm writing it. This book's good. I start next month.
Oh, wow. If you had to quarantine with one of the brothers, who will it be?
Oh, now that's not fair.
Only one this time.
I don't know. Probably Elliott. I think he would be the easiest to live with. I think. Maybe Tristan. Definitely not Jamison, because we would fight the whole time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, because I actually reread The Stopover with Jan when she read it, and I totally don't remember if the Ferraras in there are the same in the Italian.
Yeah, they are. So they're a cousin.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, so you will remember, if you reread the Italian now, you would know this, but at the time you wouldn't have put this together. But when Enrico is on the run, his cousin from New York organises the jet.
That's right. Okay, yes, I remember that. Okay.
Cousin. So it's his cousin. So
okay.
Ferraras in New York are cousins of the Ferraras in Italy. You know how I like to connect shit.
Yes. So is he like the one in New York? Are they the bad guys?
They are aware that they have bad guy cousins line, but no, they're good people. But I mean, I even like the bad guy ones, so they're all good to me. But they're on the fence. Gabrielle Ferrara will get a book one day. But the problem I have with that is because Amazon obviously have locked down on all my characters from the Miles High series that they get first to write for me to write about anyone in that series. And because I have another series called Ferrara, it's you know what I mean? It messes up the branding. So I just have to work out what I would call it. And I would probably write it for Molly. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So I remember one of your posts on Instagram. It looks like it's a screenplay of the Takeover. Is it being made into a movie or a series, or any of your books being made into a movie?
There are exciting things happening with it. I cannot, I would love to tell you what's happening. I would love to tell you what's happening. I can't tell you anything, but I can tell you things are happening behind scenes, and we're in the process of things, and I'm spending a lot of time doing Zoom meetings like this. So
that is exciting. I can't wait to know more about it.
Honestly, it is so exciting. If you knew what was happening, it's just like, I just want to tell the world, but I can't yet. So
I should fly to Australia and be in your office.
You should have so many Zoom meetings, and they're always late at night because everyone's in America. So it's, anyway, because we're on different time zones.
Yeah.
So one of the girls is in UK and another man's in the US, and we're just like trying to connect meetings, and so it's always me that's up at 11 p.m. meetings.
Yeah. If set that one aside, out of all your books, which one would you want to see on the screen?
All of them. Well, I think so. I'm holding out for mainstream. I don't want to be. It's not that I don't want to be. It's just, I don't want to be. No, I'll call that. I'm holding out for mainstream TV and Netflix rather than a romance-based, because I feel like if I'm going to do it, I want to go hard, and I don't want things smudged around the edges to make them softer and romantic. So we will see what happens. Like, it may not ever come to fruition, but Alistar is the one that I can just see as a motion picture. Like, it's just amazing. But all of them, the Miles High series like I said, we've got things going on at the moment with that series, so it's exciting.
I'm excited. So since this podcast is going up before the Casanova, we want to talk more about the Casanova, but we kind of don't want spoilers because it is going to go up before. Did when you signed with Amazon, did you think people was gonna love it as much as they did?
Well, it's funny, because Amazon emailed me like 4 times to ask me to sign for them, and I actually missed all their emails. It was like spam, when you get the head of Amazon, I must get 50 emails a day from Amazon trying to promote, you've been picked for this and that and this promotion. So I ignore them all. And in the end, I got another email and it was like, please call me. This is from Montlake Publishing. Like, I am trying to get in contact with you. So I called her. I was in Hawaii and I called her and she's like, we want to sign you. And I was like, what the hell? Like, this is real? Like, anyway, then she says to me, I want you to pitch. And I was like, what do you mean pitch? She goes, I have to go to the buyers with a story. Like, I have to go to them with something. So I want to sign you for 4 books. I want you to pitch a series for me. And I was like, okay. Oh my God. Pressure. So the whole of the Hawaii trip, I was just like on the deck chair, like, I think of something good. And yeah, I don't know, it just come to me. So yeah.
Is it harder, like when you said that they wanted you to pitch something for $4, is it harder for you to come up with a story knowing that they want you to write 4 books versus you writing on your own, knowing how many books are going to be in a series?
Yeah, no, it's not really, because I plan all my books so far in advance. So I usually plot a book 2 years before I write it, because I like to really think about it and the story. Like, a lot of my books, I have clues sprinkled, and I usually run 3 or 4 storylines in all of my books. So I usually think of the main love story, and then I for masters it's the kids, and then it's Willow, and then I run a lot of stories. So not really. I can't say. The pressure when I'm writing is quite hard, because the editing team for Montlake that I have is male. So when I'm writing sex scenes, I'll write it and then I'll go, because I can imagine these men. So I'm like, I stop and I have that moment, I think, stop it, and then I'll keep writing. But that's probably all of it. When I get the notes back from the editor and they're like, love this scene, and it's like, and I'm like, please don't tell me. It's like, help. But yeah, that's probably my only drama.
I have to say, the plot twist in the Casanova made me love the book even more. Like, you totally caught me by surprise. I was not expecting that twist.
Really?
Yes, I'm pretty sure this is considered a spoiler, because in the Takeover, he saw this girl at the auction, the painting auction, and then
don't say it. No spoilers.
Yes. Yes.
I know.
I seriously didn't see it coming. I was like, oh my gosh, I literally screamed.
It's so funny, because Montlake and myself came to blows over the blurb for the Casanova. We fought, like, the first blow up where I was like, no, this is not happening, because they wouldn't let me put anything about that storyline in the blurb.
Oh, okay.
They wanted, the blurb is quite cutesy and it's quite cliche, and I I hate that kind of stuff. So I didn't want that as the blurb. And I wanted the other storyline, which is the main storyline in my mind, as they're like, it's not marketable enough. We need to use our business brain when we're marketing this book. And I was like, but that's not what the story's about. So in the end, they won.
Yeah.
I was just, we had come to loggerheads and the blurb had to go out. So we had sat at stalemate for 8 weeks, and I was like, nope. They're like, come on, they're going to buy it anyway. Just like, let us put this blurb up. And I was like, fine. So I think a lot of people will be surprised when they read it that it's not about what they think it's about.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I'm surprised. Yes, because I was surprised. And I have to say, one scene literally made me cry. I literally bawled my eyes out. Elliott, because everyone loved Tristan so much.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was expecting a lot from Elliott because Tristan set such a high standard that everyone was like, oh my gosh, is Elliott going to be better than Tristan? And I have to say, they're each good in their own.
Yeah.
But Elliott he is seriously swoon worthy. I love him.
He's so beautiful. Like, and you know, it was funny because when I was writing Elliott, so as far as swoon factor goes, Elliott wins for me. Like, he's just up there. And when I was writing it, you have this thought in the back of your head, what if they don't get it? What if people don't get him? Do you know what I mean? Because it's a real thing. People just get some books. Do you know what I mean? And you never know how a character is going to be, I would say, perceived or you know, accepted. And I kept thinking to myself, if they don't get him, I'm going to die because I love him. Like, so when the reviews started coming in and they're like, oh my God, this is my favorite Miles brother, I was like, thank the freaking Lord. Okay, we can all drink margaritas now because they get it. So
yeah,
I never know, like, when you're doing these podcasts, like, you must put so much work into them.
Yeah.
I say congratulations, girls. This is a really amazing platform you girls are creating here. So thank you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate the back end work that goes on with so many bloggers that support us. So thank you. This is amazing.
Thank you. So maybe one last question before we let you go, because we know you're working on the Ferrara right now. Do you know or have a time when will we be getting Christopher's book?
Yeah, so August 26th every year is my locked-in date with Montlake.
Okay. So a whole...
I know, a whole year. I know.
A whole year?
I have to write this book. So I start this book next month, September, and I have December to write it. And they work on it in the back end for 8 months. This is what happens. But they would like me to write just for them and indie work, but I won't do that. And then they would like me to write 2 books a year, and I won't do that because my books are so long. They take me 4 months. So I only can commit to 1 book a year with them. And we have locked in August 26th is my release date for Montlake every year.
That is so long. I can't wait that long.
But I can tell you that Elliott's book will be worth the wait. Like, we're going out in a bang. So his book has the same kind of feeling, you know, like books, you don't read books for the storyline, you read books for how they make you feel. And Christopher's book has the same feeling as Tristan. It's just all laughing and swooniness, and he has that about him. But I love his book.
No, I can't wait. Maybe you could send me a snippet of it.
So you did say that you take what, 4 months to go over a book. So how long does it take you from when you to write the book?
So it takes me I usually plot a year in advance, or and I'll add to it. So I've got a folder, and then I go back every time I think of a character. I'll go back and I'll add and I'll pencil things in. So I've basically got the book written out in point form. And then when I go to write a book, I make a Pinterest board, a secret Pinterest board for that book, and I'll have all pictures that I think would look like, you know what I mean, like shoes or bags or places. Or I have to admit, the Italian Pinterest boards are the best because it's just gorgeous places and Portofino and beautiful places. And then I went from when I start writing, I can never set myself a schedule or set, you know, I see authors on Instagram and I'm so jealous of them. They're like, okay, 10,000 words today. Post these pictures of the numbers, and then they're like, you know, all the calendar. I wish that was me. I'll write like 2 paragraphs and I'll go, oh, that's wrong. So then I'll lie on my office floor for an hour going, what's wrong? Like, I can't. And then I might go, usually the first 10 chapters are really slow. The middle 10 chapters, like I fire, and I might write that so quick. And then the ending, I drag it out because I don't want it to end. So I don't know. Some books come quick, some books don't. Just depends.
I seriously don't think any of your books, like the first 10 chapters, I don't think it's slow at all. I seriously think every book starts with a bang. And
do you know how, on my end, how many times I write those first 10 chapters? So this is the thing, people go, when I put a book out and I've spent like 6 months ripping my hair out, going, oh my God, agonizing every word. And then I put it out into the review team and they go, bang, it's done, 4 hours. I'm like, what the fuck? Why can't they take 6 months to read it like I just took it? Like, so, yeah, I agonize over every word. So I'm glad that it's slow because I would literally, if I did.
Well, it's funny because when I started reading the stopover, I told Payne, I'm just reading like 2 chapters. That's it. And in the morning, she's like, what chapter did you get to? And I told her, and she goes, you're that far. I'm like, I couldn't stop. It was like, it started off with a bang and I just wanted to know what was going to happen.
That's one of my things that I like to do. Like, that's my aim. I don't know if I ever do it, but I want it to be that once you start, you can't stop. That is my aim with every book. It's like, okay. So, like, it's nothing for me in the final edit to cut 30,000 words out of my manuscript because I feel like there's a dead spot. I'm like, no, that's too quiet there. Mm-hmm. So,
and do you set yourself a word count? Because I know I've seen some authors that say, okay, my word count is this for this book. But like you said, your books are long. Do you go with whatever comes to you?
No, I don't set myself a word count. I would like, you know, there is a real skill in delivering a good book that is short. Like, you know, a lot of authors' books are around 80,000 words. Yeah. Some people can really deliver a great book in short words, and I wish I could do it. Mm-hmm. I can't do it. I have tried and tried. I just can't deliver, for me, the emotional depth that I need in a shorter book. I need the extra words.
Well, I'm going to say from the 3 books that I read, thank you, because I love your long books, and because I've read some books where they are long and it feels like it's dragging. You're like, okay,
I know that's stuff I'm repeating. That is my biggest.
But when I was reading the 3 that I read from yours, it literally, I've been on the edge of my seat with all 3 of them, and it does not feel like it's dragging. It doesn't feel like repetitive stuff or anything. It just feels it flows so well, and it's like. One thing, you're in chapter 1, next thing you know, you're like chapter 19 and you're like, it's 2 a.m.
I read it. So because I write it in chapters, and then at the end I do a big read. And like I said, it's nothing for me to cut 30,000 words because I'll be thinking, oh, this chapter's going too long. And then I'm like, oh, this chapter's going too long. That's a problem. So I cut it. So, I'm glad you said that, because that is always my worry. I'm like, am I just raving on here? Like, is everyone just going, what is she going on about? Like,
I seriously think your books are long, but we can totally finish it in one day. I'm pretty sure some people can finish it in one day, because most of your books, I finished everything in 2 days.
Yeah,
so,
they look long, but they don't. They're not long. If that makes sense.
Someone said to me the other day, how do you do it? Like how? And I said, I guess I basically just write 2 books as one book. It's 2 books with a cliffhanger, but I put them together because the middle is always got a big cliffhanger, but then I keep reading. So I guess that's basically how I do it. I don't know. I would love to be able to write shorter books, but it doesn't work out.
Just curious, out of all your heroes, who's your favorite one?
Oh, that's hard. I can't really say. It's like picking a favorite child. Whoever's usually my favorite is usually who I'm writing at the moment, because I'm so totally in love with everybody, you know, and every book I write, I think, oh, this is my favorite. Like Ferrara, I'm writing at the moment, and I just love him.
Yeah.
And he's angry at the world and he's bad, but I'm just like, oh, I just love him. And then I go to the next book and I think, oh, I just love him. So basically whoever I'm writing at that time is my favorite.
Can you give us a little bit more about Ferrara? Because that ending, that cliffhanger of the Italian killed me. Like, I need more. I need to know.
Okay.
Do you know when is it going to be released? Any set date yet?
Yeah, probably around November, I'm thinking. October, November. Okay. I can't really tell you. I can tell you it's about Giuliano and Francesca. And I can tell you that it actually overlaps a little bit of Ferrara. So it's the last part of Ferrara, it's what's happening in the backstory. That's how it starts. What's happening in the backstory before it gets to the climax of what happens in the ending. So, when they meet at the house, remember when they meet at the house?
Yes.
Well, there was things that went on behind closed doors at that point for a period of time. So that weren't touched on in the plan. That makes sense. Am I even making sense right now?
Yes, you are.
So, yes. I don't know. That's all I can tell you.
Because you know how in the Stanton, it was, before everyone knows, there was kind of a forbidden sense to it, because they thought they were related.
Yes.
Or like, is it
the
kind of?
book is exactly like that, but it's times 10 because they actually are related. So
Is it incest?
I can't tell you the storyline. I can't, and I said that, but I can't say what the story is about. But I can say they just know that they can't feel the way they do.
Well, I love forbidden love. So
this is the ultimate forbidden. Don't worry.
Don't make it sad. Don't make it emotional.
My hair's like this as I'm writing it, going, oh my God, like we hunted for writing this book. But yeah, it's good. I love it. It's like I said, it's my favorite book at the moment.
I can't wait for it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure and an honor talking to you today.
Thanks,
and can't wait for more of your books. Please write faster.
I know. I wish I could. How do you do that? Like, I see authors put out like 8 to 10 books a year, and I'm like, wow, you're incredible, amazing, and how the hell did I learn how to do that? So, yeah, I wish I could write faster. It made me spend a whole week on one chapter. Things might be better. And can I just say thanks, girls, so much for having me. I really, really appreciate the work you do. Like, it's your support's amazing. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And since this podcast is going up the day before the Casanova, happy release day.
Oh, yay! Thank you. Before release day, it's always a bit, nervous. A bit nervous. Montlake release is a lot easier than my releases because they handle everything else. So
yeah,
you basically have to sit back and drink margaritas. Well,
just wondering if the world opens again for book signing. Are you going to be going to any book signings?
Yeah. So I'm supposed to be in Edinburgh at Rare next year, and then I was supposed to be in Rare in Germany. But I'm not committing to anything because our quarantine laws are so our country is completely closed off. We can't travel.
Mm-hmm.
If you do want to fly out of Australia, there's no guarantee they'll let you back in. And if when people come into the country, they're only allowed here if they're from Australia. So it's not easy for us to leave the country. Mm-hmm. So I'm not committing to anything. I pulled out of Rare because I was like, I don't want to commit and get pre-orders because you get a lot of pre-orders and then people pay you and then you have to refund them. And I was, so I've just told Amy, hopefully I can come. If I'm allowed to come on the last day, will you fit me in somewhere? I can't guarantee.
Would you ever do a signing in the US?
Yeah, I've done a signing in the US. I go to New York. The last year I was in New York 3 times. But they were for meetings with people. I did a signing 2017, I think, in Cleveland. I've been to LA a few times, but no, all my meetings at the moment in New York are with producers. They're not with signing people. So I'll be honest, I don't really like, I love signings to meet the readers. Like I really love that, but it's really quite daunting for us as authors to go into a room with, 5,000 women, like all like, you feel really overwhelmed. Like it's quite scary. So I'm one of these authors that lives for signings as in goes to 15 a year or 20 a year or whatever, because they take, it's like the week preparation beforehand because you have hundreds and hundreds of orders. You've got to get them all sorted. Getting to the place, like for us, it's, 15, 20-hour flight wherever we go. And then you've got jet lag and then you do the signing and then you come home. So it's a good 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks out of your writing schedule. So someone who's so tight in time, it's a lot. I don't know how people could do 15 signings a year and write. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't have that brain capacity. So 2 or 3 signings a year would be great.
Yeah.
Let's hope. Soon, please.
Yes. Well, we'll let you go. Thank you for joining us today once again. And we can't wait for more of your books.
Oh, thank you guys. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, TL Swan, for joining us today. We had such an amazing time. I am so excited for the Casanova. Like I told you, I just finished the Takeover and I love Tristan. It's so funny though, because when I finished it, you're like, did you like him more than Jameson? I was like, I like Jameson more. But I mean, I still love Tristan, but I don't know. It's something about Jameson I loved him, but I'm so excited for the Casanova. Yes. I'm excited to read her other books.
Yes.
And it was such an honor having her here. So hopefully she'll come to a signing in the US or we'll go to Australia.
Yes.
I've always wanted to go to Australia though.
Yes. I want to go to Sydney.
Yes.
Because you know how Finding Nemo.
Yes. Well, because it's funny because I was telling my friend who's from Australia, her name is Lucinda. She loves TL Swan. I kept telling her I want to go because I want to go visit the Australian zoo the one that the crocodile hunter opened. Do you know who that is?
I don't think so.
You don't know who the crocodile hunter is? Well, he passed away a couple years ago, and his daughter took over like the zoo. Oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed with that zoo. Like, I follow it on Instagram. I follow her on Instagram. Like, it's beautiful, and you get to like hug and carry koalas, and I want to carry a koala. So I was like, whenever I make it over there, hopefully maybe when things calm down 2023, like, take me to the zoo. And she's like, yeah, you can come for that book signing. I was like, I don't know what book signing that is, but count me in. So hopefully, if not, we'll go over there.
Yes,
I'll take Payne with me. We can go chill over there.
Yes.
But so, yes, it was such an honor having her here. And like I said, I'm so excited to read Casanova. I'm excited to continue reading her books, which I'm totally am. I'm going to put everything on hold to start Mr. Spencer tonight. So it is amazing. So if you haven't pre-ordered yet, get the Casanova. It does go live tomorrow. So make sure you get that. I love the Stopover, the Takeover. So I'm pretty sure the Casanova is going to be amazing. And so make sure you get that. And we do have our interview with Devney Perry next week. So make sure you check that out. It's I love her. She is amazing. So I'm so excited to be able to share that interview with you guys. And we have so many stuff coming up. Me and Ping were discussing this yesterday. We're locking down other interviews.
Yes.
And it's so fun. I'm so excited. And I can't wait to announce who's going to be in our podcast, because it's such an honor having these authors here with us, because I love their work. We love their work. Yes. And them taking the time to talk to us is such an honor and a privilege. And I'm so thankful for them. And for them to take time out of their day to talk to us. So thank you. And if you make sure you guys are following TL Swan on Instagram, get the Casanova. And if you have any questions for us, let us know. You can send us a message in our Instagram, which our handle is @BookBuzzPodcast, and we'll get back to you. And we are going to be posting our giveaway for the 500 followers on Instagram. So make sure you're following us on Instagram to check that out. And make sure you tune in next week to hear our interview with Devney Perry. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope you guys have an amazing week and happy reading. Again, make sure you check out the Casanova by TL Swan. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.